We are getting closer and closer to the theatrical release of Shelby Oaks, which just so happens to be the first ever movie to be directed by a YouTube movie critic. Chris Stuckmann, one of the most successful movie critics to ever be on the YouTube platform, has had a decline since the beginning of this decade, and it's been a decline like not many other that we've seen before. Stuckmann, a decade after his peak, has since become a parody of his younger self. I'm going to go into detail and explain what caused Chris Stuckmann to lose his passion of what he not only once enjoyed doing so much, but what also gave him a beloved fan base, as well as what even put him in the position to get his wish and direct a movie.
Let me give you an analogy. Imagine a pro baseball player. Him and his team win 3 World Series in a row. Boom, boom, boom. But then he kind of gets injured and he limps through the next season. Then he quits entirely. He gives up. He leaves. But something in his head tells him that something isn't right. He wants to rediscover his passion. He wants to go back to his roots. So he starts playing baseball again. Now, is he going to win a World Series in that first season? Probably not. But he's going to have a few solid base hits. And The Visit is a solid base hit.
He's pretty good, Dad.
Right? You know what you could do? If you got a really good director of photography and you went out to the street and you found a pile of rat shit, he could probably light that very well and perhaps shoot it with an interesting angle. But it's still rat shit. 50 Shades of Grey. Stand it. 50 Shades of total fucking shit gets an F. Poster. I really wish I had this blindfold when the movie was playing. This movie really understands the formula. It knows what it needs to be. It knows how to satisfy audiences. It knows how to make a tear potentially form on your eyelid and maybe even fall. And it knows how to do that so effectively that most people are not going to be challenged by this movie in the slightest.
What?
Most people are going to leave the theater very happy, and not too many people are going to remember the movie after a few days and maybe even a few hours, and that's perfectly fine for me.
What is she saying? Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Is she saying rape?
What happened to Chris Stuckmann? What made him decline so drastically in such a short period of time? How do you go from being the second most subscribed to YouTube movie critic on the platform to declining in the way that he did? So I am about to play a video. This so happens to be the first time Chris ever reviewed a movie in his life. It was in 2009 after the release of the movie Dragon Ball Evolution. Chris, as a fellow millennial who also has been a fan of Dragon Ball Z since anime began to become popular in the States in the late 1990s, was still able to attract a following and a number of subscribers in the first ever attempt in his life at reviewing a movie.
This whole film is so horrible. I can't even fully explain it in words. Goku is like some depressed teenager who goes to school, who's just turning 18, who has a crush on Chi-Chi, this girl, and all these kids are bullying him. And then he learns of you have to collect all the Dragon Balls before the eclipse, otherwise Piccolo will become all-powerful. Which, by the way, has nothing to do with the show.
In January of 2011, that was when Chris Stuckmann really started to take off with his career. Chris's ability to either praise a movie and explain why the movie worked for him, or the way how he would criticize a movie and actually make something fun to watch out of a bad movie, made him the second most subscribed to movie critic on the entire YouTube platform, only behind Jeremy Jahns.
The Happening. What happened to M. Night Shyamalan? Why is this movie so bad that it's good? Is it trying to be so bad that it's good? Is it a B movie or is it an A movie? Or is it a B movie trying to be an A movie? What is this thing?
Aside from only just reviewing newly released movies, he would have these segments one called Hilariosity
A
Review.
word that I made up that describes a movie that is so bad that it is good. It is such an atrocity that it's hilarious. Hilariosity.
Hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Out of my eyes! I never misspelled anything! Not one time! One time!
In a different way from how Chris would do it in his newly released movie reviews, he would review movies so bad they're good while utilizing a different format and showing footage throughout the entirety of each movie he would do a Hilariosity review for. Chris would collaborate with other movie reviewers on the YouTube platforms, but he ended up making really good friends with John Flickinger, aka the Flick Pit. And even though Chris being more laid back and John being more outgoing, the two of them would often collaborate and make some of their better content opposed to what they would put out on the average.
And when I woke up today, I went, oh, I'm seeing Batman v Superman today. Yeah, the bat nipples get hard. I know mine are right now.
That's not the only thing that's hard.
That's true.
If you go back and watch some of his older videos from around 2015 or 2016, you can see how he was so passionate in what he did. In the mid-2010s, that was when Chris Stuckmann was at his pinnacle.
Distance shots where people were farther away, you couldn't even see much definition animated into their faces. The prequels, everyone walked around and told us the plot. The exposition was so heavy. We were constantly reminded of things and told directly to the audience rather than being shown. Force Awakens shows we get to see these exciting sequences. Here we go. This entire film is nothing but exposition. It is leading to a film that never happens. The villain, Victor Von Doom, is laughably, atrociously awful. The way he looks is a comedy. The way he acts is a comedy. The movie is so convinced that it has to set up a world in which we can have sequels. We have to copy off of the Avengers' success. The Marvel routine in which they set up an entire world in which these characters exist, a world that we can enjoy and we can make tons of money because it's a big franchise and a big world now.
Pretty much my main issue with these films, at least before this one, was that the human characters were never as interesting as the apes. Whenever they would cut back to James Franco's character or Freida Pinto's character or Jason Clarke or Kerry Russell, I was like, can we just get back to Caesar? Because that's kind of like where the heart of the movie is. War for the Planet of the Apes is almost exclusively about the apes.
In 2016, shortly after the movie Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice was released, Chris Stuckmann made a video addressing the backlash he received from his Batman Superman fanfiction rewrite that he posted on his Twitter. This sadly would be the first of many occasions where Chris would make a controversial video which made his viewers also question his brilliance.
Basically, on Twitter, I posted kind of like a fan rewrite of two scenes in Batman v Superman. So this is a video that I really didn't want to make. I had no desire to make this video. I didn't really want to. I just wanted to kind of move on from it and have fun on my channel, talking about movies and stuff. But a lot of people have requested me to make this video. I thought it would be a little more emotionally powerful if the fight ending because they both realized that they had moms named Martha. I thought it'd be more powerful if Batman realized that he was almost in the same position that the gunman who killed his parents was. I had a moment for maybe an hour where I said, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And it was just for fun. I also have to realize that it's the internet.
A year later, Stuckmann then released a video similar to his Analyze segment stating that the 1982 movie Blade Runner takes multiple views to appreciate. Many criticized Stuckmann for this weird opinion, not being able to stand up for himself or to even be able to say that he doesn't like a movie that most people do. If you even look back, earlier that same year, he spoke of the same movie and even acknowledged that, I just kind of like
Blade
it.
Runner? I don't love Blade Runner. I want to do a video about it at some point. I don't love it.
This was the first time we actually saw Chris be naive and not let his own opinion actually define how he feels towards a movie. Then a year after that, he released his best of 2018 video. As this is a tradition that many movie critic YouTubers do at the end of every year, Chris, for the first time, not only put very little effort into editing his video, Chris also put out a message at the end of the video stating that he would no longer do a top 10 worst movies of the year, despite the fact that he would still speak negatively of movies or even give them the F grade after he said that.
I want to briefly talk about one very important thing, and that is the worst of the year video. I've done one every year, but I'm going to be really honest and transparent with you guys because I believe that you would prefer that. I haven't really enjoyed doing that video the past couple years.
I don't believe what I'm hearing.
I think it has something to do with the fact that there's already so much negativity on the internet and so much complaining constantly and all this like fake screaming and anger about movies.
I don't know you anymore.
2021 was the year where the domino effect came into play. It was a very shifting year for Chris. In January of that year, he made a long video where he discussed and opened up to his viewers about the fact that he was raised in the Jehovah's Witness religion.
When you're raised Jehovah's Witness, like me, the consequences of leaving that religion are disastrous. I've talked in the past about not being popular at school, and it wasn't just because I was a nerd. It was also because everybody knew I was a Jehovah's Witness. One specific example I remember, the kid at a lunch table, he said that if I ever showed up on his doorstep, he would get his dad's shotgun. And the whole table just starts laughing, and it was like hilarious to everybody. But that was a normal thing to be taunted in that way.
Aside from all of the childhood trauma that he dealt with as an adolescent, I personally believe that the purpose of Chris posting that video was for both therapeutic purposes and as a way for him to tell everybody that this trauma from all of those years ago is still indeed haunting him as an adult and is even affecting his mental health all of these years later. Then in August of that same year, he released a video saying that he had made some changes to his channel, most notably stating that not only was he going to get rid of his rating system, but his channel is now a quote-unquote celebration of movies.
I want to say immediately right off the bat from the beginning, my channel's not going anywhere. I'm not going to stop making videos. I'm still going to make videos. They're just going to be kind of different, and they're not going to be the same as they were before. I think it would be strange for me to say, I hope you guys see my new film out on October 23rd. Also, Tom and Jerry is really bad. Like, that would be weird.
He, from now on, will only review movies if he himself liked it. Despite had stating years back that Chris would like to one day retire from YouTube and transition to being a filmmaker, everything about Chris's mentality just went totally upside down in the year 2021. That was the year where everything changed for him. Fast forward to almost 3 years later, in February of 2024, he made a video discussing the movie Madam Web, which was a part of the Sony Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man, stressing the fact that studios take away freedom from filmmakers, which on his side I can understand, but as somebody who was trying to make it into the film industry and wants to one day be hired by big studios, that wasn't the wisest decision, given the fact that people may look back, and that's when the Josh Trank effect could come into play. The only difference being that Chris's debut movie had still not been released. Sean Flickinger has even come out and confessed that him and Chris are no longer friends.
Specifically happened with Stuckmann details. Just a falling out of sorts. We didn't have a disagreement. Nothing specifically happened between me and Stuckmann. Nothing specifically happened there. It involved somebody else that I was sort of dating at the time that was friends with Stuckmann. And then this whole slew of things happened after that to where I think there was a misunderstanding and that was it. You know what I mean? I think that was it. Then, a couple years later, Stuckmann was like another human being. He was like a dude, I don't even know who that is. I literally, when I watch his videos, I don't know who that guy is.
Now the part that I promised at the beginning of the video. What was it that actually happened to Chris Stuckmann? I feel like his mentality just changed so much. 2021 wasn't just the year where he posted those 2 videos, which I've already discussed. It was also the year where he became a father and when he finally got to shoot his movie Shelby. That was when he made the commitment, okay, I'm officially a filmmaker. I finally got to shoot my movie. While his movie was in post-production for those 4 years in between the wrapping principal photography to the theatrical release of Shelby Oaks, not only lost his passion and what he once loved doing, he only then saw YouTube as just a way to pay the bills, as he obviously needed to work while his movie was still in post-production. As I'm recording this video, we are a month away from the release of Shelby Oaks. As some have seen it a year ago, while apparently the cut that is about to be released in theaters is going to be different from the one played at Fantasia International Film Festival in July of 2024. And even successful horror director Mike Flanagan stepped in and took on a mentoring role for Chris. Has his passion for cinema vanished? No, I do not believe so at all. Given with how much Chris's mentality has changed in the past 5 years, I am very unsure if this will actually work out for him. Given the fact that the YouTube platform has only been around since 2005, this is obviously something that we have never seen done before. As a fan of Stuckmann's for more than a decade now, am I disappointed over the fact that I'm not able to enjoy his content on the level that I once did? Most definitely. However, that does not take away the fact that I am still rooting for Chris and I want him to succeed. I want Shelby Oaks to at least be successful enough to a point where Chris gets invited back for a second project. Hopefully this time Chris can actually make a movie more personal to him, in a movie which could be about his life challenge of being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, which Chris has indeed stated he would be interested in doing. I'm interested in knowing, what do you guys believe it was that caused Chris to take this downfall? Or do you believe that Shelby Oaks has a chance? If this movie ends up being successful, could Chris Stuckmann actually do what he said he was going to and officially retire from the YouTube platform? It will be interesting to see how it all plays out a month from now. It might, on paper, sound like it would work, for somebody who critiques movies for a living, to say what's good or bad about a movie, to actually be in charge of a set. Comment below. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Will Shelby Oaks be a success? Will Chris Stuckmann actually be capable of doing what he said he was going to and become a full-time filmmaker and retire from YouTube? Comment below. I want to hear your guys' opinions. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, yours truly, Quinn the Critic.